Hello, friends, and welcome to After GMS. We just went live here on the News 2 Facebook page, as we do every weekday at 7:45. We have a lot of trending conversations and stories to get to this morning. I'm Megan Malaris alongside Christian Morgan, who has first your forecast. A lot of everything this week.
A whole lot of everything. We had rain this morning. We were talking about that a lot on the Good Morning Show, but now all that rain is starting to come to an end. Look at the radar here. It's all now pushed to our east. Few showers, maybe a few sprinkles left in places like Asheboro and southern Randolph County. But as we go throughout the rest of the afternoon, all of that rain, all the clouds are going to clear out. The sunshine comes back, and actually we get in on a little less humidity too. All of these overnight rumbles of thunder and the showers that we've been seeing and tracking this morning have all been a direct result of this cold front that's working its way across the Piedmont. Now high pressure will build in behind that, so we get a return to sunshine for the weekend, but the humidity, the break from that, is going to be very, very, very short. Today we'll top things out right around 83 degrees, and tonight partly cloudy skies with temperatures in the mid-60s. By the way, Hoppers are in town tonight against the Winston-Salem Dash, again continuing their series. We'll be in the low 80s for that first pitch at about 6:30, and then your weekend looks pretty good. Dry both Saturday and Sunday. Low humidity on Saturday, but it does start to work back in on Sunday. We're hot too on Sunday, upper 80s close to 90, and it's warm and muggy going into next week with low end chances for showers and storms each afternoon.
So it's going to be a good weekend to get outside at some point and enjoy the beautiful outdoors here in North Carolina. That is the basis for our first trending conversation this morning. You've heard this summer is going to be the summer of travel, but when you live in North Carolina, you don't have to go far for an easy weekend getaway. Our state parks are beautiful, and they're gearing up to be busy yet again after record-breaking turnout last year. In 2020, yes, during the pandemic, North Carolina state parks welcomed a record 19.8 million people, and park staff expect to see similar numbers this year. So if you're heading to a park soon, staff says expect parking lots to be busy. With the parks expected to be such a popular attraction, we are asking you, have you been to a state park this year? Are you making a trip soon? Do you have a favorite? Drop a comment here on our Facebook feed while we share some comments that have already come in from the Good Morning Show. Mark said he loves Fort Fisher. That's a good choice. Mike said they all have great character. Hanging Rock is pretty cool. Frank said the Outer Banks. It is a very special place. Dwayne said, of course, Hanging Rock in Stokes County, since I look at it every day from my back porch. What a backyard view Dwayne has. That is pretty awesome. I love all of our state parks here in North Carolina. We've been to quite a few. Frequently, we go to Pilot Mountain just because it's in close proximity, and then we usually circle back through Winston-Salem and have lunch somewhere on our way back to Greensboro. Love Hanging Rock as well. For us, that's a little bit more of like a strenuous hike because I think with the baby on your back in the carrier, and you have to go all the way up Hanging Rock as opposed to Pilot Mountain, where you can drive to the top or take the shuttle and then hike the trails around the top that are a little more level. I'm partial, though, to Elk Knob State Park, which I know you're familiar with because you went to App State. It is not far from Boone. That's where my now husband popped the question 4 years ago, and history was made.
So it always holds a special place.
It does. Yeah, we've been back there, I think, once since then. Wow. Any favorites for you? I know you love the outdoors as well.
Well, you know, I will mention that Dwayne, talking about how he loves Hanging Rock, he's one of our weather spotters. So we get pictures from his backyard all the time, and so we like to just live vicariously through Dwayne.
So amazing.
But I would say, you know, Hanging Rock is absolutely going to be one of my favorites because once you get to the top, it's just a short drive from the triad, but you feel like you've gone hours and hours away and you get some incredible views. But of course, I'm going to be partial to anything that's in Boone or Blowing Rock or in that area. But, you know, we talked about it on the Good Morning Show. We are so fortunate to have so many beautiful state parks around here within just an hour or two drive from each other.
And you don't have to be an avid hiker either to go on one of these park trails. There are a lot of different options for all ability levels. For example, if you drive up Pilot Mountain, you'll notice all the trails along the pinnacle, and they are ranked. There is signage indicating whether they're for beginners or the more advanced hikers. And so you can do what you feel is best for you and your ability, and you don't have to be this avid athlete to enjoy some of these trails. You do need the proper shoes, though, I will say. It took me a while to buy regular hiking shoes, and I noticed a big difference when I finally made that purchase.
Well, you can't go in flip-flops, we know that.
But
I will say, you know, folks who like to take, you know, their daily walk, maybe you get tired of doing the same thing or the same routine over and over again, and going to one of those state parks, and like you mentioned, Pilot Mountain, even Hanging Rock, some of those beginner trails, you don't have to be an avid hiker to just go enjoy that and enjoy the scenery. So it might be a good change up of scenery if you're looking for something like that.
Oh yeah. Well, Charlie said he plans on walking around outside all weekend long. So that is definitely a good option based on our weather forecast you've given us. A couple more people starting to weigh in here. Phil said Moses Cone, Blowing Rock, and Mabry Hill.
Ooh.
I love the hike at Cone Manor.
One of my favorites.
I'm not sure it's necessarily an official state park, but it is really a beautiful trail. We often hike the horse trail so we can see the horses on our way up. It's not very intense. There are a couple switchbacks, but.
Have you ever been up to the fire tower at the top or the lookout tower? Now it gets intense.
Okay, well, at Cone Manor, I've been to the house.
Right.
And there's an overlook. Is there something
So there's another.
bigger than that?
It's
Higher
long.
than that?
It's like a 5-mile hike.
Uh-oh.
It's
yeah,
a lot.
Nope. Okay, that's something we have to do though.
It's a lot.
Okay, so it's past the manor. You keep going up. All
It'll
right.
take you at least a good hour and a half to do it.
Oh wow. Okay, well that's on our bucket list.
Yeah,
Shara
that's
said, "Love Hanging Rock. Husband and her had their first date there. That is so awesome." And our Brian said, "What about Carowinds?" That counts. It
I
is
don't think there's
indeed
much hiking involved at Carowinds, but it does count.
That is so funny. Hey, you're hiking up the line to get to the roller coaster.
I think Carol was also asking about Hagenstone, and that is in Greensboro.
Okay.
And funny story, when we talked about running earlier this week on the Good Morning Show, and I used to run cross country in high school. And when I did, I ran my best time at Hagenstone because I got stung by a yellow jacket and then took off running. So
No way.
So I actually ran my best time at Hagenstone. So that holds a special place in my heart here too.
Yeah, for all the wrong reasons.
All the wrong reasons.
That is hysterical. Okay, you can keep dropping comments here on this talker. We will get to another one momentarily, but we do have some headlines to get to, a lot of news on this Friday morning. So let's start with this. Last night, crowds marched on the streets of downtown High Point protesting a grand jury's decision not to file charges against the detective who killed Fred Cox Jr. Demonstrators cried out for answers, demanding more be done. Tanika Shannon, Cox's mother there in red, condemns the grand jury's decision, and the Cox family plans to file a civil lawsuit. Another protest is planned in downtown High Point June 25th. So the protest happened after the grand jury's decision came down earlier this week. And they say there was not enough evidence to support those charges against the detective. Cox Jr. died outside of a High Point church while attending a funeral when a drive-by shooting broke out last November. Investigators say the detective who was attending the service in plain clothes shot and killed Cox during the chaos. The FBI says the deputy saw Cox with a gun. Investigators found no evidence Cox carried or fired a weapon. Thursday, House lawmakers passed a bill eliminating the $300 a week unemployment benefit boost. Bill supporters say this boost is discouraging people from seeking employment, especially in lower paying jobs. Some of those positions are really in high demand right now. The bill now heads back to the Senate for a final vote. Lowe's Home Improvement Company is hosting an on-the-spot hiring event today. It'll be for positions at the Lowe's Contact Center in North Wilkesboro. This event is at the Fairfield Inn and Suites on South Main Street in Winston-Salem today from 10 to 7. They're hiring for a full-time and part-time roles. Candidates need to live in a 60-mile radius of the call center. The company is looking to hire 60 to 100 people. Today is the day Winston-Salem's new baseball team prepares to hit the mound at Truist Stadium for the first home game tonight at 8. They'll face off against the Martinsville Ponies. To purchase tickets, you can head to the discoturkeys.com/tickets page. Now to our second talker and my favorite time of week here on After GMS. It's time to sit back, relax, and just reflect on life's many blessings. Even on the hard days, we can find good happening all around us. Sometimes we just have to look a little bit deeper. So I asked you on my Facebook page, Mega Malaris News, to tell me something good, big or small, that happened in your life recently. Jennifer's 5-year-old daughter Hannah sang "This Little Light of Mine" at church Sunday all by herself. Patsy's granddaughter Peyton graduated from UNC last month and started her new job. Melissa's fiance celebrated his 50th birthday May 29th. Anna's great niece graduated kindergarten from Next Generation Academy. Robin's husband has a terminal illness but has been stable several months. Despite all odds, he celebrated birthday number 66 and had a surprise Route 66 themed party. Mamie had a sleepover with all 5 grandchildren this past weekend. Wanda's husband vacuumed the whole house in one day, and it looks great. Catherine got news there's going to be a new baby in the family in late December or early January. Alicia's 3 children got their first COVID vaccines, and she's so proud of them. On Memorial Day, Brenda and her husband had breakfast at a local restaurant. A gentleman came to their table and thanked her husband for his service, then paid for their meal. Our assistant news director Michael found this little fawn at his house. Mama Deer came back not long afterward. Sharon met some of her half-sisters she didn't know existed. And after a 3-year wait, Cheryl's family got finalization on the adoption of her granddaughter. I love all of these comments every week. I had more than 100 comments this week, and so we will save some for next week because there were just so many to be able to include in just that short segment there. But every single one of your stories is so inspiring. Makes you remember that even in the tough times, there is so much good. There are so many good people doing great things. I mean, the woman who mentioned the stranger who came up to them at the restaurant and paid for their meals and thanked her husband for his service on Memorial Day. What an amazing gesture of kindness.
Yeah. And I don't think you realize how much something like that, how far that goes.
Sometimes just a little bit of kindness can go a really long way. So my Tell Me Something Good this week is something I posted on my Facebook page, just a picture a few minutes ago, if you care to look at it. It's a wedding my husband and I went to last weekend in Charlotte. It was at a farm, and it was the first wedding we had been to in 2 years, since before the pandemic and since before we became parents. So it was kind of our first night out and about, and it was so much fun. I mean, we're both vaccinated, and everybody at the wedding, most everybody was as well, so we felt comfortable dancing and just letting loose, and I know this word is overused right now, but it felt normal. And it felt fun. And
normal feels weird right now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It feels, I think my Tell Me Something Good, this is gonna sound funny, but honestly is that my voice is coming back because I lost it earlier in this week. And if you've been watching the Good Morning Show, it's been a struggle for me every day. So it is finally starting to come back. And our producer said that I sound better today, so that is good news. You do. Bobby said you sound a lot better this morning. Thank you, Bobby. I was worrying about you. You have been just pushing through. I was getting ready to have to read the weather maps and learn meteorology 101 very quickly this week. A little behind the scenes, we were preparing just in case. Yeah, didn't have to do that. You held on. Thank you. Thank you, Christian's voice. All right, Jason said the Canes finally won a game last night. Yeah, that was really important because they had lost the 2 prior. Let's see, Joanne is going to a college reunion dinner tomorrow and seeing many of her old friends. Oh, that's great. Heather's fiance and her had a weekend together, the first in a long while. Nice spending 2 days together without work. And then Brian likes my dress, so thank you. That is something good. I appreciate the compliment. I like the purple. It is nice. Thanks. Okay, so we have this beautiful view of the Weather Garden fountain. Yeah. Really emphasizing what a nice weekend it's going to be. Granted, a little bit humid at times, but not bad at all. Not bad at all. We get a little break from the humidity, at least this afternoon and for your Saturday as well. But it is very, very short-lived because it is becoming summertime in North Carolina, so we expect that. So on Sunday, you'll be a little bit warmer. The humidity will start to work back in, and it really will be pretty tough next week. It's going to be like a summer week, mid-upper 80s. Humid, and then we'll also have that chance for an isolated shower or storm really every afternoon. And there's not really a cold front or any big driving weather feature behind that other than the heat and the humidity, which of course is what happens in summer. So we get a little break from things, at least for your Saturday, and things start to ramp back up, at least with the humidity on Sunday, and then the storm chances come back going into next week. Well, let's see. Carol is so glad the rain is finally stopping. Whereas I feel where I live in Greensboro, we didn't get that much of it. It's crazy. It's very, very hit or miss. Somebody, Greensboro got about an inch out at PTI last week. Some folks barely even got a drop. So. But Asheboro got a ton. I know. It's crazy. Asheboro got a ton. Pleasant Garden got a ton. Pleasant Garden even got some hail in the last week too. So it's really, really hit or miss. And some people really, really need rain still. Yeah. For gardens and plants and all that kind of stuff. We're not going to get much of it in the days ahead. No. All right. Well, it is that time of year for sure. So always be weather aware. You never know when a pop-up storm is going to happen. Right. So keep that app handy. Okay, so we like to close after GMS on Fridays laughing at ourselves a bit from some of the gaffes and unplanned moments of the week. Yeah, this is the best of GMS. Take care. See ya. For the first time this morning. Hi, Denise. I cannot wait to see everything, and I can hear something too.
Yes, it's a great way to start the morning. We've got some vibrant flamingos behind us.
I learned something new today. We'll be right back.
Jinx.
She thought that the cake would make people sad and she would get it all to herself. When I heard about this morning, I was dying laughing, no pun intended, but I mean, of all scenes from The Lion King, this one scene that I still to this day cannot watch without crying.
Okay, Christian, I don't want to change the topic here, but people are asking you if you yelled too loud at the Hurricanes game last night. Earlier on the Good Morning Show, you explained the tree pollen is so bad.
Yeah, you know, yelling too much at the Hurricanes game sounds like a much better excuse than my allergies. I've been drinking hot water and cough drops and just eating them like candy this morning, so I'm going to continue doing that.
You're
but
powering through.
I'm good. I'm glad that people are worried.
I'm a little nervous. The next exhibit we're going to go see features the most dangerous bird in the world. I'm a little nervous, but I'm willing to risk it all for you all to give you a sneak peek.
The mugginess, that sense that
washes
you're
over you.
walking into a tropical paradise. That's not so tropical.
Bad for your hair, too.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're gonna need some hairspray this morning because mine's already been growing as the day's gone on.
Yeah. Are you insinuating something, Christian? I don't know.
No, I'm talking about
yours
myself.
looks pretty good.